Welcome to an all-new episode of Looks and Wisdom Sundays with me, Oluchi.
Hey guys, and welcome to another exciting episode of Looks and Wisdom Sundays with me, Oluchi, aka the Elusive Pundit. Honey, how are you feeling? I am feeling very, very well, and like you guys know, March is actually a holy month for both Christianity and the Islam communities, and therefore this month we are finding wisdom from the holy book. Last week we spoke about Proverbs. This week we are speaking about Ecclesiastes, and next week we will be talking about the book of Job. So last week when I was speaking about the book of Proverbs, we spoke about the fact that Proverbs is a female teacher that teaches us that there is an overarching creative force in the world that is called wisdom. This wisdom is based on the fear of the Lord. And basically what this wisdom with the fear of the Lord initially teaches us is the fact that the world is black and white. If you do good, you get rewarded with good. If you do bad, you get rewarded with bad. That's it. Someone actually commented and asked me if this is from the Bible. And I was like, girl, what do you mean? Is this from the Bible? I mean, it is from the Bible. It's the book of Proverbs in the Bible. And like I said, I am not a Bible fundi. What I'm doing is giving you the overarching theme of each chapter. I'm not going to go into the Bible verses. Like I said last week, you guys can actually go to the church for that. So without further ado, let's get to this week. And I'm putting the disclaimer again. I am not a pastor. I did not go to church school to become a Theo. What is the people that learn the Bible called? Theology. I don't know, but Theo something. You see? And I am doing this because I have learned a lot from these 3 wisdom books in the Bible, and I'm basically regurgitating to you what I've learned. So this week we are doing the book of Ecclesiastes. I will be breaking down the talk into 3 main themes. So the first theme is going to be, what is the book of Ecclesiastes? The second theme is the overall messages that we are getting from the book of Ecclesiastes. And then the third segment is I will be regurgitating to you some Bible verses that are important and drive the main point that I am talking about in this video. So without further ado, let's get to the first main point, which is, what is the book of Ecclesiastes? Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is, what is the book of Ecclesiastes? So the book of Ecclesiastes is a wisdom book that is written by a descendant of King David. The Bible scholars deem this descendant to be King Solomon, and I'm not going to dispute that, because I mean, King Solomon is one of the wisest men in the Bible, had all the riches, all the wealth, he had 700 wives, 700 concubines, I don't know, but he had a lot of concubines. So he had experienced a lot of things. So that's why this information is coming from him. But he is not the author. The author is invisible. He is merely a character in this book, but he is giving us his experience. The first main thing we get to find out in the book of Ecclesiastes is the fact that life is pretty much hevel. And hevel means meaningless in English, but then hevel means vapor in Hebrew, or smoke, something that you can see that appears to be solid, but when you reach out and touch it, it doesn't exist. So basically, life is smoke and mirrors. There is beauty in life, but there's also bad things that happen. And bad things happen to good people, and good things happen to bad people. And we cannot measure who's going to get the good things and who's going to get the bad things. It can just happen at any time to anybody. We are all subject to experiencing bad things in life, as well as subject to experiencing good things in life. And because you are good, you're not necessarily going to get the good things. You are going to get the bad things. And I mean, if you look at Africa, people here are mainly poverty stricken. And if you look at the people that are deemed bad people, they hold all the riches. Like, I mean, the Illuminati, darling. Don't want to get into that, but you get what I'm saying. So basically, life is unpredictable and unstable, and it can go in any direction. What the book of Ecclesiastes is trying to get us to is understand that when you are chasing life, you are literally chasing the wind. You will never catch it. You will definitely never catch it. So the target or the goal of Ecclesiastes is to get us to build a meaningful life and purpose with God, and understand that the way in which we want to build life is heavy, it's meaningless. And we spend too much time investing on these meaningless things. We spend too much time invested in a career, spend too much time invested in entrepreneurship, spend too much time bothered by what our physicality is looking like, whether we're ugly, we're pretty, whether we're aging, we're not aging. And God is trying to repurpose us into the main goal of the human experience, which is to build a relationship with God through fearing Him and understanding His ways. So that's like the main thing of the book of Ecclesiastes. Bad things happen, life has no meaning, and you just need to repurpose your life into channeling your energy towards building a relationship with God. And then on the next segment, I will then take you through all of these things that we focus on that are not important, and then what we need to focus on as per the book of Ecclesiastes. We focus on the material a lot. That's one of the main things that we learned in the previous segment. We focus on our career, our appearance, what we look like we're doing to other people, and all of these things. And we always want to spend time building something. The first thing the book of Ecclesiastes tells us is the fact that the human experience is a recyclation. Is that even a word? The human experience is a recycled experience that happens time and time again, generation to generation, and civilization to civilization. So anything that you think is important for you in this lifetime has been done a million times over before by other people who existed before your time. So what you are trying to build is not new to God. It's not new to anybody. It's not surprising at all. The technology that you think is breakthrough, it's not. The Egyptians did that before. You guys still can't figure out the pyramids. All of these things, the music, the clothing, the what we believe in, the wars, the famine, the capitalism, none of that is new. The paintings, all of these things are not new at all. They are not new. They've existed before. They will exist again. You are going to die in less than 100 years. No one's going to remember your name. No one's going to remember your experience in this life. No one is going to remember you. So why are you wasting all of these times focus on all of these things that basically do not matter, when you should be focusing on things that have existed before? And it makes an example about the fact that the mountains will always be mountaining, whether it's this civilization or the next civilization. That's what God's focus is. The seas will always be seen. That's what God's focus is. We need to be chilling in the sun. We need to be sitting in the grass, doing things that bring us joy in the moment, instead of focusing on all of these things like a career that brings us depression, that brings us anxiety. All of this chase that we're doing is what Hevel is to the book of Ecclesiastes. It's a fugazi. It doesn't exist. And even if it does, you're going to die in 100 years anyway. So that's the first thing the book of Ecclesiastes warns us about, the time factor. You really have limited time in this world. Like whatever it is that you're doing, you have limited time. So why are you spending 99.9% on things that you're going to leave here and things that are not going to follow you into the next lifetime? And the things, some of the examples that are given as things that we could focus on: going outside and just basking in the sun, hearing the birds chirp, having a laughter with your friend, building a family, creating a relationship with God, which is like the main thing. Repurpose your purpose to focus on your relationship with God and you enjoying life outside of life's hevel, which are all these materialistic things that we do try to build. We are subject to time. Things are going to end at a certain point. But the second most important thing that we're subject to is death. It doesn't matter if you push through, build this empire that's going to bring you billions, you're going to die. And you're probably going to have to give it to someone else. You don't know if that person has the same vision as you. You don't know if they're going to finish the money in 3 months' time and then be on, I blow it. Like, you don't know that information. But you focus all your energy on the material world and not focus on your soul and not focus on the happiness and generating happiness using things that don't require you to pay cash, like praying, like chilling in the sun, like hiking a mountain, like just basically observing the clouds, like having a relationship with your family, laughing with your sisters, laughing with your friends, being intertwined to the things that even if you leave, your soul would have experienced that. Even if time is not on your side, and even if death is not on your side, you can still create a good life with the here and now. And how you do that is understanding that if you keep chasing the wind, you're literally doing that. By the time you get enriched and try to hug it, it's not there. Look at me now hugging the wind. I'm basically. So Proverbs was, do good, get rewarded with good. Do bad, get rewarded with bad. The book of Ecclesiastes is saying none of that is true. It's true, but none of that is true. That's like the base of wisdom. And then now you need to get to the second tier of wisdom, which basically says that bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. Hard work doesn't guarantee a good life. Wisdom doesn't guarantee a good life. Whatever you are thinking is new, innovative, has been done before. God's not impressed. The angels are not impressed. They don't like, it's not factored to them. It didn't land. And even if you're doing the hardest job you can do, you're always going to be subject to time. You're always going to be subject to death. You're going to die anyway. So what do you want to do with your life? Do you want to sit on the heaviness of this existence by keeping on chasing? Or do you want to sit on the understanding that all of these things have happened before? God knows more than you what is happening. So you should trust that process and sit in that process. And don't take things that are happening to you personally, because it happens to everybody. And I mean, that is like really one of the main aims for my channel, is to put out there all of these things that we carry heavy. I spoke about failure in January. And I mean, once you understand that failure is part and parcel of life, you just like, let's move on. And then February, I spoke about the different types of love. And I mean, whichever direction you find yourself in, there's a way out. You can choose better, you can do better. And then now, this month, we're talking about wisdom. They tell you that it's good and bad, but now I'm telling you that despite all of your efforts, like something greater decides how this chess of game is being played. And the only way you can save yourself is by cultivating the relationship with the Maker and focusing on the non-tangibles. And all your hard work might or might not be rewarded. Depends on God. And then now on to the last segment, some of the most important verses that are found from the book of Ecclesiastes that are going to drive this, the 2 points down, what the book of Ecclesiastes is about and how to navigate life's uncertainties. So the third segment, I'll be taking you guys through some of the Bible verses that drive what I spoke about home. So the first one is Ecclesiastes 1 verse 2, which basically reads, meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. And like we said before, hevel and meaningless are the same thing, which means that vapor, smoke and mirrors, life is just meaningless. And then the second one I want to speak about is Ecclesiastes 1 verse 9, which basically says, what has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. And we spoke about that, like all of this technology, you think Beyonce is the first one to do it. You think Michael Jackson, you think all of these people are the first people to do it. You think, but no, all of these things have happened before. It's just a repetition. Like literally, like I said, life, generation after generation, just a repetition. Civilization upon civilization. It's just a repetition. Like literally nothing is new. The third one is Ecclesiastes 1 verse 17. Then I applied myself to the understanding of wisdom and also of madness and folly. But I learned that this too is a chasing of the wind. We did say anytime you're trying to chase something, it's wind. And now God is telling us that even wisdom, if you are invested too much in trying to be wise and in trying to understand all of these things, it's madness, it's folly, it's also chasing the wind. Even wisdom is chasing the wind. So all of the healed people, I just want to say this. You cannot be focused on the healing too much. You need to go back to just enjoying the sun. Enjoy the sun, baby. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 8 says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. Love exists, hate exists, war exists, peace exists. Like in South Africa, we don't have any war, so we feel like a little bit peaceful, but we just come from apartheid, so we had our own situation going on. The people in Ukraine and Russia are experiencing war right now and not peace. The people in Israel and the people in Palestine are experiencing war right now and not peace. The people in DRC, Congo, the people in all of these different countries that are subject to war are feeling that. And some of us are lucky that we have some peace. You know, we can never have too much peace with the government, but you get what I'm saying. And that there is time for love. I'm a lover, I will love you, but I have people I hate too. So that exists and love exists. It's part of life. Ecclesiastes 7 verse 14. When times are good, be happy. When times are bad, consider. God has made the one as well as the other. Therefore, you cannot discover anything about your future. So, when times are good, be good. When times are bad, consider, what must I do to get back to the happy good? God created both, good, the bad. So you cannot sit here and predict the future because you can't. So that's why you need to go out and celebrate. If it's your birthday, go out and celebrate. You've got 2 coins, you can go to KFC, do it. If you are in a good celebratory mood, sit in that energy. Because when things are going bad, honey, we are so quick to sit in the negative energy, like, oh, I'm depressed. Sit in the good energy as well as sit in the negative energy. Both of them are equal percentages when it comes to God. And there is something that you can find from both of them. Ecclesiastes 1 verse 11. There is no remembrance of people of the old, and even those who are still to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. Think about, I always make this example. I was like, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was the most famous person after Jesus. Like, he still has like a little bit of traction right now, but best believe even Michael Jackson will not be remembered in all time. He's just going to be remembered. He literally just died in 2009. So we are alive. Some of us were alive during his time. We're always going to push the propaganda. But then it doesn't necessarily mean that the people that come after us will see Michael Jackson. Probably going to see Taylor Swift as the main O, or see Beyonce as the main O. I saw AKA as the main O, but even he's dead. Like, he's not going to come back and relive that life. I'll eventually forget. Hopefully I won't, because I love AKA, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you will not be remembered for life. You only exist for a short period of time. So you focus on creating a legacy or blah. That's a waste of your time and energy in this world. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 15. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. They have no further reward, and even their name is forgotten, which basically takes the same point home. Like, the dead are dead. Like, the Bible tells us all the time that the dead are dead. They cannot help us. They cannot give us any information. And I believe that, because no one who's died has come back and be like, psst, psst, by the way, there's really a heaven and a hell. Like, no one's came to give us that information. So the dead are dead. And the living, they will die, and no one's going to remember their name. So focus on the present moment and cultivating that joy for yourself. So this is the second last one. it says, it's Ecclesiastes 9 verse 10, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for in the realm of the dead where you are going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. God is so funny, like, guys, so silly. Again, I will read this. Whatever your hands find to do, do that with your might. For in the realm of the dead, there will be no working, no planning, no knowledge, no wisdom. Basically, use your time very well in this lifetime. We did talk about the fact that even if you work hard, you're not guaranteed success. You're not guaranteed money, not guaranteed fame. But use your hands to do something and do that very well, because this is your only chance to do it. This is the only lifetime you have, because soon as this lifetime is dead, which you have no control over, because God controls the death, God controls the time, God controls everything. You will not have time to do that. You're going to be lying dead, honey. So whatever you do, do it with your might. Give it your all, but also know that it doesn't necessarily have to come to fruition if you think you're going to find success from it. You just have to do it because, I mean, you've got time and space in this time and space. And when that gets taken away from you, you're going to be dead. And then the last one says, Ecclesiastes 5 verse 7. Much dreaming and many words are meaningless. Therefore, fear God. I mean, this is the connection we get between the book of Ecclesiastes and the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs was like fear God as the main theme. And then the book of Ecclesiastes says that you need to align your purpose with God, because, I mean, honey, what are you going to do? Because even if you're pushing hard in the material, it's painful. It's meaningless. It is smoke. So, much dreaming and many words are meaningless. Therefore, fear God, because God is where your situation is going to come from, your comfort, your peace. Now, let's get to the summary. And in summary, the book of Proverbs taught us that the world was black and white. Good equals good, bad equals bad. But the book of Ecclesiastes is telling us that, girl, stop. Life is meaningless. Life is smoke and mirrors. Nothing is guaranteed. You can put in all your weight. Might happen, might not happen. Things are just going because there is a overarching person that we don't know that's orchestrating this thing. We just hear as like the human beings, and we subject to time. You're here only for a limited amount of time, and you don't even know when they're going to switch off the light and you're going to find yourself dead. And two, you're going to find yourself dead. So you might as well try to navigate your life as you see it. And God is trying to get us to find purpose and meaning in Him and the things that exist here for all time, which is the things that He's created, like the sun, like the wind, like the earth, like the seas, like just breathing, like basking in the sun, creating a relationship with God, the Holy Spirit, and the angels, instead of focusing all our time and energy on work, and trying to build things, because what you're doing is not new. It's been done before. You might think it is new, and that's because God was very smart. He didn't allow the civilizations before us to give us information about what they were doing, because it's the same thing. It's like God giving us the movie that we're going to have to act in, and then we can't be shocked. So every time He brings in the flood, like, wash, new civilization come in, they go through the same drama again. It's not a sequel. It's a repetition of the same movie. The same way we repeat Sarafina every June 16. Oh, another thing I wanted to add that's important to God for a purposeful life is family, friendship, love, laughter, and all of these things. I think that's it. Is there anything I'm missing? I don't think I'm missing anything. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Please comment, please subscribe, please tell your friends, please share my videos, and give me feedback, guys. What do you think about the videos? What do you think? Like, I don't know. I'm just pushing this propaganda by myself. Thank you, guys. See you next week. And now to editing.